We're going to take a look at how to build a teaching toolbox in Microsoft Word. Now, there are two ways of doing this. First, you could take the text that you would like to copy and paste into a student's assignment and simply paste it into Microsoft Word itself. Second, you can use a feature in Microsoft Word called Quick Parts, and that will actually save bits of text into the software itself, which you can then drop into the assignment. Now, there are two parts of a teaching toolbox. There's the actual text that you will provide the student in the terms of feedback. But there's also going to need to be an organizing principle. You're going to need a way of finding that content easily. So what you want to do is build a teaching toolbox so that the software can create a table of contents that makes it easy for you to reach the content. First, you want to create the headings you'll use to organize your teaching toolbox. For instance, you might have two top-level headings. One we'll call content, and the other we'll call writing. Content covers thinking issues, the major concepts in your field. And writing, of course, is all the writing issues around organization and the like. Now, you may have a number of different headings at the top level, but we'll just use these two for simplicity. Then you're going to have subheadings underneath these. So under content, let's imagine I teach research methodology, and I might have internal validity and external validity. Under writing, I might have organization as a subheading and style as another subheading. Again, there's probably going to be quite a few. We're just doing two here for illustration purposes. Under internal validity, we may have a third level. Maybe it's history effect and mortality effect. Under external validity, might have random sampling and generalizability. Now under writing organization, we might have planning and structure. And under style, we might have grammar and APA. So you want to set up the headings that organize your work first, simply typing them in normal text. Then you assign them heading levels so that the Microsoft software can interpret them correctly to build the table of contents. Remember, content and writing were the top level, so I'll highlight those two and I'll just declare them level 1. Then we might do our second level headings. Now to save time, we can do all the second level headings at once by hitting Control and left click. So under content, our second level is internal validity, external validity. Under writing, it was organization and style. I've highlighted those and I'll go up here and hit level 2. Then we have a third level. So I'll click history effect, Control, left click for mortality effect, random sampling generalizability, and I'll click all of the third level. And I'll come up here and I'll click heading 3. Now I'll simply put my cursor at the top. Now, if you're working in Word 2010, you'll go to References, and this process will be more or less the same in different versions of Word, but the tabs will appear differently. You'll go to Table of Contents, and then you get to pick the type of table you want. So let's just pick this. This looks good. Now it's set up a table of contents based on my headings. These aren't the headings themselves. The headings are down here, but the table of contents was created. Now I'm going to start inserting the content. For instance, under history effect, I'm going to find some content. You may type up the content or you may find something on the web. I've got some content I'll simply use as an example here. Under mortality effect, I'll do the same. Now when you first set it up, you'll likely have some content for some of these categories. But these categories are going to grow. So every time you find a new item to put in here, simply put it in, give it its proper heading, and hit Update to the table of contents, and it will update it and add it to your document. Now when I go up, I'm going to click the table of contents. I'm going to click Update Table. I'm going to say Update the entire table, OK, and it will apply the proper page numbers. Now let's imagine I want to provide some of this content as feedback to a student. So I'd have this document open at the same time I'm looking at a student's assignment. I'll go up to the table of contents. I'll find, say, history effect. I'll left click it, and that will take me to the spot in the document where I have the actual text. From here, I can simply copy and paste what I want to put into the student's work. Now, as I mentioned, the second option is to use Quick Parts. That allows you to save certain text into the actual Microsoft software itself. And here's how it works. Let's imagine that I find some text I want to save. Here's some text on anthropomorphism. I've given feedback on anthropomorphism, and I want to use it in the future. I'll first highlight that text. Then I'll go up to Insert, and I'll go to Quick Parts. I'll click Quick Parts. And what you see here are examples of other texts I've already saved. Now, since I've already highlighted the text, I can scroll down to Save Selection to Quick Part Gallery. I'm going to click that. First, I want to give it a title, and it's simply a one-word or two-word title that'll be descriptive. Next, the gallery will automatically default to Quick Parts, and that's what you want to leave. Next, it'll give you a category. It'll default to general, but it's a good idea to create categories. So for instance, this particular piece of feedback on anthropomorphism is really in a category we'll call writing. So I'll say writing and OK. Now I'll click OK. Now when I go up to the Quick Parts gallery, you see that added. And here's how it can be used. Let's imagine I'm working on a student's work. I realize they make a mistake in anthropomorphism. I tell them about the mistake, and then I want to use this text that I've saved. All I need to do is type the first 3 letters of the title. Then I click F3, and the entire title along with the text shows up right there. So that's an even quicker way of getting saved comments to a student. The weakness, though, is in the organization principle. Remember, I mentioned that you can give it a category, and let's take a look at what this looks like with all of the different quick parts. You have what they call building blocks organizer, which is the name of the broad system under which quick parts fall. Then you have a variety of galleries. Quick parts is listed, and you can define categories. So I had concepts defined and writing as a category, but there's only one level that you can define. You can't define levels below it. What's going to happen is that if you have 100 different comments, in organizing these, you'll only have one level of categories to put them in. So you're going to have a lot of comments under a particular category. You won't have the fine-grained distinction of a level 1 heading, level 2, or level 3. Plus, you're going to have to remember what the first 3 letters of the title of the comment is. And with a lot of comments, you may eventually start forgetting. Finally, since it's saved in your software, it's only going to be saved in the particular piece of Microsoft Word software on that particular machine. It's not going to apply to your Microsoft software on a different computer. Plus, if you upgrade to new Microsoft software, it may not be real obvious how you're going to move what you've saved from one piece to another. For that reason, you might find the first method preferable, even though the second method could save you some time. So give it a try.